Hello, and this is HES Gatsky here, back with some more Imba League Heroes! And I had a ton of fun in the last game, so I decided to go ahead and bug Crank and MMA. Well, we'll give them a formal introduction in just a moment, but they are once again going to be playing on Imba League. It is a map that you can play on the North American server. The whole point of Imba League is just to seriously have fun. There is no balance. If you play on the map, do not expect to win because it's completely imbalanced. If you end up getting mad because you lost your Imba League game, then you are completely missing the point. But this map version that they're playing on, we just added a new feature, which is all race. Basically what that means is you do get a worker from each and every race. So you got Protoss, you have Zerg, and you have Terran. And I think that they're kind of maybe explaining to each other what's going on. Spawning up in the top left side, it is going to be the purple Terran. Why he can't see my base. It's like junk food, so addicting after the first time. And yeah, I guess they're asking about that, which is absolutely hilarious. But either way, what is the most OP combination that you can get when you can play all three races? I honestly have no idea. No idea, because you can make hatcheries for cheaper, you can have mules, you can have scans, you can have reapers mixed in with blink stalkers. There is literally an infinite amount of unit compositions that you could go for. It does look like Crank is actually going to expand with a hatchery first. MMA going to be playing it boring. He's going to go for a command center, which I can't really blame him. I believe you can chrono boost all buildings, just FYI. Not sure if that's actually good or not. I believe that you can. I think so. We'll see if that comes into play. But we do have the hatchery down at the expansion. Crank is going to go ahead and go straight for the gateway. And if you would like to play on the Imba League map, just go on the North American server, type in Imba, which is IMBA. I know you guys probably know how to read the title, but just type in Imba League, 2 different words. And yeah, there was one comment. There was one comment I read on the Imba League a couple episodes back that was like, Husky, would you say that it's 2 words? Because I mentioned that it was 2 words like 9 times. But either way, it is 2 words. Go out there and play it, guys. It's one of the highest rated maps on there. So thank you everyone who leaves feedback and stuff there. If you'd like to follow the map creator, his name is Mike Zettel. And his Twitter's down below. You can go follow him, and you can actually tweet ideas directly at him. He puts in a lot of time on this map. It's one of those things where it seems like it's an easy map to make, but to get all of these mods to actually mesh together correctly actually takes a lot of work. So mad shout out to him, because without him, the series Imba League and the map itself would not exist. So big thanks to him, as he's been there since the beginning. Definitely appreciate it. But MMA still refusing to go for anything other than Terran. I guess he is a Terran purebred through and through. And he's actually scouting. Wait, no, he's not scouting with this. Is he going to expand down here? Or is he actually scouting with his... I think he is. He is actually scouting with these workers right now. He doesn't know where his opponent is at. And MMA just says, you know what, screw building anything else. I'm just going to go straight for pure Terran. Oh, excuse me, still too much Baja Blast, that is for sure. Whereas Crank is trying to spice up. There we go, MMA is actually going to throw down a hatchery down there. We'll see if he goes for the Nexus or not, but they are going to go ahead and try and play this a little bit sneaky. And I can't help but emphasize, guys, and maybe I'm just a little bit of a fanboy, but these are like 2 of the best players right now, especially in the Team League. You may be saying, ha, Husky, the Team League, no one cares about that. The Team Leagues are actually brutal, because there are times that you have to carry your team by getting 3 to 4 wins, which is crazy. Crazy, and that's versus all different players. So they both had a very good year in the Team Leagues. And there's the Nexus from MMA. Now, keep in mind that they cannot see each other like one of the other mods is, which was the All Vision. But we do have a Twilight Council going to be on the way for Crank. He could be going for some sort of blink play, but at this point, I mean, how do you predict what a player is going to go when they have all 3 races? I mean, what is the metagame on that? I don't think anybody knows. It does look like the stock right there is going to go ahead and take out that SCV. There's going to be the Chrono Boost on the hatchery right there. MMA saying ZZZZZ, and Crank is laughing about it as he does Chrono Boost that hatchery. I'm not sure, does it make these guys build faster? Does it make the larva spawn faster? I honestly don't know. Is it better? Let's see. Is it better to make overlords or pylons? Meta game questions. I honestly don't know. I honestly have no idea what the better option is for those players. I mean, you get, of course, the map vision with those overlords, but at the same time, you know what? You know what's actually a problem for MMA here is if he loses these bases down here, he loses his only way to make other units. Overlords can be my site. That is true. That is my thought process there as well. But then he could get the Artosis pylon, which is just be careful of our Artosis single pylon. There we go. I don't know if he'll get that. But either way, we do have these simulators on the way. And this is actually a really good less pylons might unpower all of your buildings, just like Artosis always does. There we go, as Crank is definitely agreeing there. Sorry, guys, I have way too much fun with Imba League. I think that it is definitely definitely this and Imba League, and Bronze League Heroes are my favorite ones. He's saying, thanks for the tip, and you know what? No problem. Oh, wait, is he actually killing it down here? It looks like he is. No problem. I can be Axiom team coach if you need. Of course, he is the team coach for Team Axiom. We do have the spawning pool going to be going down. Acer MMA might actually lose his base. He doesn't have really anything to show for it down there. As the pylon, Nexus, what are you doing over here? You got a bad rally point there. As MMA, I think, is definitely confused. Now, I do want to mention that all of your supply is linked together. So if you make Overlords as Protoss, that goes towards your supply. If you go, supply depots and you're playing Protoss, again, it goes and adds to your supply. It does look like this one SCV over here, he's deciding not to work. He's an imposter, as he is pretending to work. MMA's got a lot of gateways added on here. I think this hatchery might, actually legit die. I don't see any way of him saving that, as it is so far away. He does have another hatchery going to be coming up over here, though. So, Crank, what is he going for? He's already got High Templar. He's working on a command center as well. He's got lots of gateways on the way. And it does look like the Stalker here. I mean, he's got his work cut out for him, especially since hatcheries do regenerate health, albeit slowly, but is still able to regenerate that versus just the singular Stalker that is going for there. MMA going for some crazy macro modes right now. I think what he's going to do is go for the power Protoss, which is I like to call it, which is where you feed a Protoss gateway army off of the massive amounts of mules that Terran can get. And this is going to be a lot of units very, very quickly. As, sure, the Stalker can kill this off, but at the end of the day, when there's this many gateways, he doesn't have a warp gate. He is going to be making Zealots over here, though. So hopefully for MMA, he actually starts to make some stuff. He does have Zealots and Archons mixed in. We'll have Psystorm as well, which isn't the best versus Zealots. The Archon is much better. But there's going to be the individually built Zealots. They don't need no warp gate. There's going to be warp gate on the way. This Nexus does have a lot of energy, but I mean, he's going to be focused on a million other things, considering that you have to try and figure out all the hotkeys. I think that the hotkeys are actually the same for each race, and maybe some of those hotkeys overlap. I honestly don't know. I haven't tried this mod out too many times myself, especially not at the pace that these players would be playing, but pretty darn soon, MMA is going to have a terrifying force. At the same time, though, I gotta say, Crank does have quite a robust army himself, and he's saying, what you doing, MMA? As I think Crank is getting a little bit scared, as did he save this base? It looks like yes, the Lings are able to save it. And there's the Zealot right there. It is going to be ZVZ, which is Zealot versus Zealot. But PvP battle taking place in the middle. The Overlords are going to be joining in as well. High Templar here are ready to go. MMA, I mean, his supply is not looking great, but what does he have in production? Currently, it's more Zealots, which is not a bad choice. He's got more gateways on the way. I feel like Crank is trying to figure out where the hell are these Zealots actually coming from. MMA should probably start spending this money, though. He's got a lot of it. His warp gates should be, they're not quite ready just yet. He's got to try and buy time down here as long as he possibly can. But there's so many hatcheries that MMA can just continue to power these ridiculous units. Does send the High Templar back home just to keep them safe. Also prevent any sort of counterattack from heading that way. But I think at this point, MMA needs to upgrade these to warp gates. He's trying to get it done in time. I don't know if he's going to be able to, though. I mean, it's so close. If he can get them done, he should actually be able to warp in enough units here to help this army out. He's got to rally them, though, not all the way across the map this time. And probably just needs to keep them right there to try and keep this protected. But you can see just how ridiculous the army compositions actually start to get. I mean, we have the Protoss attacking the Zerg branch of that base. I feel almost like this is a campaign mission where you're controlling Protoss, Terran, and Zerg. But it does look like right now everybody's got to try and hold the ramp up here. These have been upgraded into warp gates. Might actually want to go for Stalkers. The angle, though, is going to be favoring MMA in this situation. And I don't know if, oh, he can't actually complete those zealots there as they are kind of chilling out. The observers do spot if anything's going to be headed that way. At the same time, this army may need to move out, but there's going to be a counterattack of zealots over here. And no one really getting that many upgrades. I mean, it does look like Crank is at 1-1, and he is starting the 2-2. But MMA just quite enjoying the fact that he can be playing as a super fed Protoss here. Does continue to have all of these command centers up and running. The Zergling counterattack now over here as he tried for the Zealot counterattack. That didn't do a whole lot. Is now going to be changing it up into the Zergling counterattack. More queens are on the way. Creep spread on the way. I want to say I feel like MMA might actually just be overextending himself a little bit. I mean, he's got all those bases up and running. Then again, he's also pulling Crank way out of position to actually be able to kill this off. I mean, MMA doesn't actually need this base anymore. That queen will buy just a moment of extra time. This creep tumor doesn't actually finish. Looks like the answer is no. That gets taken out right away, as I don't think he actually canceled that. But here comes another counterattack of lots of Zealots kind of moving up to the top right side. The workers getting mixed in there. Not quite sure what they're doing there. This base is completely exposed, though. He could go for that. Decides to run up the ramp, though, and he's running into the perfect storm. Those High Templar are going to be able to clean that up very, very easily. So it does look like Crank's counterattack doing much more than MMA's, but MMA also has a lot of money in the bank. So what does he spend that money on? That is the real question. Is he going to wait for the hatcheries and then go for tons? I look at his production tab. We see 3 command centers, gateways, and hatcheries all being produced right now by MMA. He's also working on Storm. Whereas Crank is just going for much more consistent Protoss, just raw strength. He's got the Zealots, he's got Archon, just one Archon, I guess. He does have High Templar as well. But also now he's got to start going for mech here because, you know, what's better than Protoss army? You know, mixing in Siege Tanks and Hellions, maybe even going to be mixing in Hellbats, and he is going to throw down a scan. This is so confusing to my commentator brain. Like, it doesn't know what to say because everyone's got everything at this point. But we do have the hatcheries up here. He's also going to be working on apparently a sensor tower and some missile turrets. More command centers going to be on the way. Well, if you ever wondered what it looked like with creep on a building, all right, on a constructing building, well, that is exactly what that looks like. We do have another big counterattack over here. I guess as Terran, you can counterattack much easier just by warping in Zealots. There's a huge army marching up on his base, though. I don't know if he has any pylons in position here to be able to warp in those reinforcements that he needs, but these Zealots actually going to be doing lots of damage, it looks like. The Hellions over here, though, actually getting completely surrounded. I thought they were going to be the saving grace, but not today, as we have ridiculous split armies everywhere. The Queen's unable to do that much. We have Roaches going to be on the way. Where are the reinforcements? There's the pylon. These are all going to be Zealots, so it's not quite a base race, but both players are taking tons of damage right now. The tank may actually go down, and it does. These Zealots from MMA just refusing to die. They eventually do get cleaned up, but this is a lot of stuff over here. He's got to try and save these bases as best he possibly can. He is falling behind in supply, but how's his income looking? Overall, MMA's income is actually better here. So he is going to be able to recover much better from this. That Archon, though, at 18 kills, actually, is a master at this point. And more Zealots going to be steaming up here. Steaming? What? Steaming up here. Whatever. Steam rolling up there. Maybe that's what I meant to say. Roaches are going to be on the way. This is so many Zealots, though. And Roaches are normally pretty good versus Zealots, but not in these types of numbers. Those Roaches are going to want to get out of there. But for now, they got nowhere to run, man. They're trying to go for the counterattack and trying to actually just buy as much time as they possibly can and doing a pretty good job at it. But can MMA get up enough money to actually hold this up? I mean, I still think he can. I feel like his income is still in great shape. It does look like, though, Crank wising up and realizing that mules are extremely good is going to be catching up in that regard. But MMA is not out of this just yet, as he does have all these command centers, can easily drop mules that say this location down here, and he can continue to power off these gateways. He's working on his first set of upgrades now. He has his own Archons, and he's going to be able to hold the top of this ramp quite easily with tons of splash damage. I don't know if Crank realizes exactly what he's running into right now. Sure, he has an upgrade advantage, but is it enough to kill off these Archons? I guess the answer is yes, but those Archons able to do massive damage to that Zealot number, and massive damage, actually. He should be able to hold this off just by warping in one big wave of Zealots. So that's exactly what he's going to do. This Archon, though, is up to 33 kills. He may kill his last few units just now, though, as these Zealots are going to be able to go to town and actually do quite a bit of damage. That just shows you how good Archons can actually be if utilized correctly in these wacky situations. But still, the income for MMA is great. He's going to be saving this base over here, it looks like. And not that there's a whole lot to mine here, but he could get some additional gas from that location. Plus, he has all these SCVs up here that he could transfer down to anywhere. And MMA has basically relocated his entire base. Crank is saying, you know what? I've had enough of this getting out mined. He does have siege tanks and Hellbats right now. trying to mix that in. MMA is down in supply in a big way, but I don't want to count him out at all, because he has enough money for a ridiculous amount of zealots. That is for absolute sure. But is it going to be enough right there with the Hellbats mixed in? I don't know. Crank is saying ZZ, man. It might have to be mass stalkers that get warped in here, but MMA might actually be in a lot of trouble here if he can't start mining more gas. He needs to mine gas from these locations, but this meching army is going to be moving out here for Crank. Having every unit at your disposal actually makes this game a lot more balanced. I just realized that, as basically there's always a counter to whatever you're going against. I don't think that there's an unbeatable. I'm wondering, what do you guys think would be the most unstoppable unit composition? Maybe carriers with mass SCVs repairing them. I honestly do not know. This base down here, though, is in a lot of trouble. DTs are warping in, but that is a scan there to spot those right away. I don't think Crank is going to be falling for something so silly. MMA trying to do something, trying to do anything with these warping in units here, but it's just not enough. He's got to be losing his only base. The DTs, though, could easily move in there, maybe one at a time, to try and make it happen. If Crank's not paying attention, then he will lose quite a few of these Hellbats, but well, he is losing out. There's going to be the scan. Needs to save those DTs if possible. MMA, though, definitely focused somewhere else, as he is trying to make something happen. He does have a DT up here. That DT's at 7 kills. He has one over here as well with 11 kills. So the income right now is actually basically nothing for both of these players. And don't count out MMA just yet. If he can make something, a miracle happen here, then he could, well, pull a miracle. Look, guys, I'm not good with words, but it does look like the DT right here is doing quite a bit of damage. You know, and this may just be too little, too late, as this DT trying to kill off all these units. But I mean, these are the last production facilities of MMA. He might just want to warp in his last few units. It does look like that's exactly what he's doing, actually. And Crank trying to figure out how to deal with this. These zealots are going to get taken out here for MMA, unfortunately. But is there a DT still loose inside the base? No, he finally gets taken out. And I think that Hellbats, as per usual, may be the winners here. The splash damage is might actually kill off these ETs if they're not careful. Although they're doing quite a bit of damage, it's not nearly enough. As, well, more guys are warping in again. They're going to get taken out, though, it looks like, as DTs might be the only answer here. I don't know how much scans Crank actually has left here. He is surprisingly low on scans, actually. He currently has no scans. This one over here actually does, but that is going to be one of his one and only. And I believe the Dark Shrine has fallen. Oh my god, this structure tab. This structure tab is a little bit out of control. Yeah, there is no Dark Shrine left. MMA, I think, may have some count. Well, he's still got crazy income, though. Where is he getting that income? He has 4 mules there. Is that literally all it takes to get 2,000 income? Is that all of his income? Or no, he has this base over here. Okay, I was going to say, there's no way that 4 mules are that good, as he does have a ridiculous drop going down over here. But guess what? Crank trying to do the same. And might actually, yes, just stick to Marine and Marauder. Keep it simple, stupid, is the good old saying. Not that MMA is stupid. That was actually probably a horrible saying given the situation. But he did hurt Crank's income, and now MMA may have a chance to actually recover here. He is still about 100 supply down, but at the same time, Crank has like no other bases. I mean, sure, he's got this orbital command, which is making SCVs, which are marching all the way across the map, but he doesn't have the income to keep up with MMA right now, and MMA is just mining out this base like crazy. This is literally going to be like one of the fastest mined out bases of all time. We do have Marines starting to get mixed in, but the Marauder count is got to be pretty substantial here in just a moment. Apparently bunkers are the way he decides to deal with those Hellbats, but the Hellbats move so slow that there will actually be time for MMA to kind of beef up this army quite a bit, as Crank trying to figure out how exactly do I kill this off, with the bunkers going to be completed by the time any of the army gets up there. But Crank saying, yo, come on, man, it is hopeless for you. But I don't know. MMA is saying 1 sec, just give me 1 second, and it does look like this base is going to go down, but it's kind of served its purpose. It allowed MMA to stabilize a little bit. 1 sec means 1 second. It's gone already. MMA is saying, no, wait, please. I don't think he's going to actually have enough Marine and Marauder here. He doesn't have combat shields. He is working on Stim Pack, but there's going to be the scan right there. And, oh, the Manor Mules from Crank coming down. He's saying, you know what, I see your Marine and Marauder, and that is not going to be nearly enough. And remember that siege tanks do just fine versus bunkers. They outrange it quite well. And really, I think MMA's best bet is to just go for pure Marauder here. I think what he needs to do is add on just more tech labs at this point, and not even make Marines. Just go for the Marauders, try and get the stim, which he will actually be able to complete that stim. Does have more gateways going to be on the way, which actually mixing in stalkers would be great. It does look like Crank deciding not to go on this side. There's really nothing over here for him to kill. Apparently there's a random nexus over there. We got that macro nexus going down, second one as well. And I think he's trying to see, are there lots of buildings down here? Maybe he didn't actually mean to send that entire army down there, as he does have a couple of Hellbats going to be scouting it out, making sure that he doesn't get flank attacked right now. But what is on the production tab here for Crank? Still sticking with just the Hellbats. He has really good upgrades for whatever reason for these Hellbats. And we do have Starport's going to be on the way. I don't know if he's going to have time to get these out, but if he can get out 1 or 2 Banshees, this entire army will actually be dead. It is currently 200 supply to 93, and these bunkers are going to be able to buy him a little bit of time, but not a whole lot. And what's hilarious is if he was able to get out some Banshees, he would be able to kill this army. I just don't think he has the time to do so. He's going to have to swap these out as quickly as he can. There's the scan. They will be able to spot a little bit of what's going on. Crank says, though, I'm very sorry because I am super hungry. MMA could have been able to kill us off, actually, with the Banshees. Actually, the bunkers doing more damage there than they should, as maybe the bunkers bought just enough time. He's just got to get those Banshees out. There is literally no anti-air in this entire army. Doesn't even need to get cloak done. It does look like this these bases down here definitely going to get taken out. But where are the Banshees at? There's the mass recall. Where did that mass recall go, though? He does send it up to the top right side. Was there any harassment there, or is he just toying with him? I think he may be toying with him. The Banshees are on the way, and the Banshees will be able to kill all this off. I mean, the main problem is, of course, that Crank has like 100 and about 50 supply lead at this point, but he actually needs to lose some of this stuff to make anti-air. Crank is saying, wait a second, I'm actually not sure exactly why, but the scans right there do reveal that, hey, they're still basically just mech. And where is this lair tech? Is it not going to let me see it? There it is. Is Crank realizing maybe I should actually get out Hydralisk or something to deal with these Banshees? Where are the Banshees? Are they out yet? Not quite yet. They are nearly done, though. 4 of them are on the way. MMA really has nowhere to mine, unfortunately. So this is definitely going to be a slow demise for him because he can't kill off this army quickly enough. He could, though, maybe potentially send the army out to the right side, try and kill off that base. Is going to go straight for the tanks first, and these Banshees going to get lots of kills. He actually has the servos, though, so these Hellbats have turned into Hellions. That's an upgrade that you almost never see these days. But then again, it is Imba League, so you never know quite what to expect. And the siege tank should get taken out here, no problem. Cloaking is going to be on the way. We'll see if it actually finishes or not. It's kind of tough to tell, but these Banshees doing lots of damage. They are cutting deep into the supply right now. And we're probably going to be seeing Hydralisks or something like that, or Mutalisks to deal with these quite easily. The Mothership Core is actually attacking the Tech Lab right there. That is a base race if I've ever seen one. Some of the Hellions down here are going to be able to take out the Nexus, but we'll see. Oh, double Spire right now. These Banshees are done, though. And this just shows you the interesting side of having all 3 races, is that you can tech switch to, like, the crazy hard counter. How do you kill this many Hellions? Well, of course, you make Banshees, or you can make Stalkers, or really just make whatever you want. The Mules right there getting pretty ballsy with it, dropping directly on top of those Hellions. I think they are, for the most part, going to survive, or at least 2 of them did. But MMA, I mean, that's all he's got left. He's got a little bit of money in the bank. He's trying to recover here, but we do have Thors now on the way for Crank here, and also Mutalisks as well. He's actually cut way deeper into that supply than I think even Crank had anticipated. Look at that supply right now. It's actually 80 to 56, and I honestly don't think this is Crank trying to lose this game. I literally think that he was taken by surprise by all of these Banshees, cleans those up. I mean, even though he scanned and saw the 1 or 2 starports, I don't think he expected that many. And the Banshees right now, they do have cloaks. Apparently that race was won and may just be able to go to town here. Now, the Mutalisk count, how many can he actually make? Only about 10 by the time these Spires are done here. Crank doesn't actually have that much stuff or that much income at this point. As MMA is still somehow winning in that front. So I would say MMA is actually technically in the lead right now. It's just that Crank has the option to go for the Mutalisks. And Crank also trying to get more gas down here in the bottom left side. But an absolutely hilarious game. Where are the Banshees at? They gotta be flying around. There's one right there. He is cloaked. Let's just kind of get a status update on all these Banshees. There's a bunch of them over here. Some of them are hanging out there, and that one is actually moving in. Are there any others on the map here? Looks like no, that's actually the majority of them. Wait, I lied. This Banshee over here is up to 13 kills. A lot of those are going to be the workers that we just previously saw down there. And these Banshees, all of a sudden, MMA going back to his roots, just making lots of Terran units at this point. But the Mutalisks are here now. They do not have a Raven, but they will have those scans. So if the Mutalisks can get on top of them, then just scan them, and they will easily get taken out. as at this point, this game has gone into ridiculous mode. Absolutely ridiculous, which is kind of what I love about Imba League, is that if you just want to play a fun game with your friends that's totally stress-free and absolutely hilarious, then Imba League is definitely your map. As, what was their APM even in this situation? 200 APM, still finding stuff to do. Which for me, when I play on this mod, I just get so overwhelmed, I just like shut down. But the Mutalist Flock is here, and the Overseer is here as well. Why make a Raven when we can just make an Overseer? And also, I love how there is, for whatever reason, just double logos right there. I think this game is like super confused. Single logos on the hatcheries, but either way, it does look like the Hellions over here. Gotta try and be shutting this down. 15 kills on that Banshee. Now, Mutalists are trying to spot these Banshees, and we'll be able to do just that. Even with the cloaking, the Overseer should be on its way, but the scan with Mutalists, how OP is that? As they are able to chase that down, and MMA is crying, because normally you just have to wait for the Overseer. Mutalists might be able to take out one of the, well, it's not the most important command center at this point, but either way, every command center is important, but it does look like that is way too much anti-air. Crank is going to get pushed out. I honestly don't know if Crank has an answer for this, because MMA is, there's no reason for him to make anything other than Terran units right now. He does have his Nexus on the way. He's trying to rebuild that infrastructure, but at this point, Crank in a lot of trouble, and MMA is now the one who is fully recovered, just showing you that mules, no matter what race you are exceptionally strong, and his income is probably a little bit out of control now. Yes, it is 1,800 minerals there. I don't know if Crank can actually recover from this. That Banshee finally goes down. Once again, getting that double logo there, which is just absolutely hilarious. But Crank could begin dropping mules down there, but I think he may be saving a lot of his energy for scans. We'll just have to wait and see. But this game may stabilize here a little bit. 117 supply to 135. Not sure if exactly what Crank is saying. Maybe he's saying, you know what, I'm running out of time. This game has gone on for way too long. But the Mutalists can continue to swoop around. Might actually be able to take out this Nexus here. Could go for the other base there as well. There's not really a whole lot over there. Looks like he was able to kill off a Banshee with that, but we'll see exactly how good Crank's Mutalist control is. Not something you normally practice as Protoss. That's an honest statement right there. Queen's right there. There's really so many hatcheries that at this point, what is the point of Inject Larva? And the Mutalists do take out that Nexus over here. But MMA is still sitting pretty well here with his Sky Toss, or, well, Sky Terran. He could make it Sky Toss if he wanted to, but for now, just trying to get up that Protoss tech here to maybe make something of use, as Crank has kind of settled on mostly Zerg units here, as I think he mostly just has Muta. I mean, really, at the end of the day, when you have unlimited options, just make mass Muta anyway. It's got to be Muta Hellbat, though. With a couple of those Hellions mixed in, you got to realize that they do have the +3 attack as well, which is kind of ridiculous. And the Mutalists going to continue to fly around. At this point, I guess we're just going to go into the late game. But what does the late game look like when it's a PZT versus a PZT? I don't know what the actual best unit composition there is for the late game. Maybe battle cruisers and carriers mixed in with broodlords. Who knows? 14 Hellbats on the way at a time, though. Crank somehow managing to get maxed out almost instantly. Hellbat is one of the easiest units to get maxed out on, though. So I guess that's not that big of a surprise. Widow Mines would probably be pretty ridiculous as well. But the Mutalist Flock is a little bit out of control. They are only at 1-1. These completely forgotten about Zealots, though, are going to get taken out. It's just that I will say MMA is actually out of money. His income has taken a big hit compared to where it was. And he's really only mining off of, like, 2 bases. Pretty soon, though, that's going to feel like just one. I mean, this natural is basically mined out. It's only got a couple hundred gas left over. And at this point, it's still anyone's game. I want to slightly give the favor to Crank, though. It's just the main problem is that a lot of that supply is in Hellbats, which are easily out-kited. And so maybe running those Hellbats directly where the Mutalisks want to be as well. Uh-oh, that is going to plummet this income right now. That is at 2,000 is where it just peaked at. And you should start to see it plummet very quickly. And indeed, you do, down to, well, less than half that almost. As, again, he's not mining off of that many bases. And Crank doing a really good job of keeping himself relevant and keeping him in this game. Crank also saying that Mutas are imbalanced. We do have Mutalisk Hellbat coming up, which I'm kind of curious to see how that shapes up with no siege tanks here to stop these Hellbats from just marching in there. It'll be interesting to see. Double scan going down just to see exactly what's coming out of there. It does look like Colossus are going to be what he decides on. He's saying, you know what, I have enough anti-air to deal with the Mutalisks. It's the Hellbats that I'm worried about. And the Mutalisks right now got to try and pick away at this army. But here come the Hellbats right now. The Mutalisks well, the Colossus aren't actually out just yet. So the Hellbats is going to be going to town. Mulet's going to be swooping in. This is going to be the final battle, I would assume, as Crank may have exactly the unit composition he needs, which is just mass muta mixed with any other unit. And it does look like Crank is going to be ending the game right here, right now. Hellbat's getting a pretty good angle there. Even though they're slow to arrive, they still scare that army all the way back. But it does look like Colossus spawning, and is it going to be enough to push this army back? Hellbats don't do a lot of damage to Colossus, but when there are that many Hellbats and they somehow manage to get a surround, it does look like MMA, though, is in a lot of trouble. He's down by about 100 supply. Not sure what they're saying, but I understand the GG. So Crank able to win an Imba League once again using all 3 races. Crank is got to be your winner. Hope you guys enjoy it. Remember, go play some Imba League. It is on the North American server. Just search for Imba League. It's 2 words, which I know I say every time, but it's a lot of fun. At least play it with your friends. And I'll put the Twitter down below for Mike Zettel. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you guys next time. Oh my god, he had more units on the way. Oh, Crank.